Hello, my name is Selena, and I'm a part of the Let's Discuss A Course in Miracles webinar team at the Foundation for Inner Peace. The mission of the Foundation for Inner Peace is to publish, distribute, and discuss A Course in Miracles. We hold these Let's Discuss online webinars as an expression of our vision of extending love through A Course in Miracles teachings. Today, we're bringing you old souls in a new generation, giving gratitude for bringing in the new. The session will be about 2 hours in length, and it is coming to you live. And you'll want to stay tuned and watch until the end because one of our panelists will be giving you a sneak peek of an exciting new tool being developed by the Foundation for Inner Peace. It will be officially launched and available to all course students very soon. So we're delighted to be sharing it with you today. Thanks so much to all who registered and submitted questions in advance. We received so many questions, and we'll do our best to answer them and work the topics of your questions into the discussion. Please know that we do not have a simultaneous Spanish translation for today's live broadcast, but a Spanish translation will be available for the recording in the near future. Before introducing our guests, I invite you to join in prayer. From the text, Chapter 2, A Course in Miracles tells us that we can do much on behalf of our own healing and that of others if we think of our situations in this way. I am here only to be truly helpful. I am here to represent Him who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because He who sent me will direct me. I am content to be wherever He wishes, knowing He goes there with me. I will be healed as I let Him teach me to heal. Now it's time for today's Let's Discuss A Course in Miracles webinar. Until recent years, it seems A Course in Miracles students have been mostly in their 40s and older. But now, members of the up-and-coming generations are jumping in with deep awareness at younger ages. What are their most pressing A Course in Miracles questions, answers, feelings, and perspective on this very practical and often difficult path to the awakening of love? We have something to learn from all of our teachers, and this younger group of students and teachers offers a new light, and to that we offer a warm welcome. It's a true pleasure to have and welcome our guests today. Foundation President Tam Morgan is joined by an international group of panelists. They will each share more about themselves, and together we'll see where they are and what they are doing and offering in the world of the Course. Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome to you all.
Thank you, Selena. A very warm welcome to you all. Selena was generous when she said, you know, we have a lot of students in our 40s. Our demographic has been 60s, 70s, 80s now. And so to get this incredible rush of people in their 20s and 30s to really fill this, what I felt was a void, is so exciting to me. And I've heard much more from the older generations that I'm in myself now. But I am so excited to hear, and for everyone to hear what you're doing, how you're doing it, what brought you to the course, and we can just start, in a round of each one stepping forward, or I can call on you. This is going to be casual, as I said to you beforehand. And let's start with when you speak, just for the first time, introduce yourself by name and say where you're from, please. And I think the first real question is, how did you discover A Course in Miracles, and what drew you, and at what age? So let's start with Jenny, and don't forget to unmute yourself.
Sure. Well, hello everyone. So happy to be here and have this opportunity with such amazing people along. So my journey with A Course in
But
Miracles
1 second.
started
Wait,
about,
sorry to interrupt you. Your name,
you know,
what country
you're
you're
right. You're right. Well, my name is Yenny DaSilva, and I'm originally from Venezuela, South American country, but I currently live in Panama for the past 7 years.
And
So
would you
here
mind
in Panama.
telling us your age? If you'd mind, don't.
Of
But
course.
otherwise,
Yeah,
thank you.
I'm 17 years old. Oh, no. I'm not 17. I'm 27.
Didn't think
That
so.
was very off. But yeah,
But you look
27 years.
17, so it's okay.
Thank you. Well, I got you for those who thought I was 17. So yeah, I discovered A Course in Miracles being 20, I'm close to 22. I was 21 still. And it came in my life when I was starting to understand how to be an adult. And it was pretty hard that time. For me, it was a tool to understand how I could fit in this world peacefully and not have, carry this heavy bag on my back of beliefs and thoughts that will make me feel afraid of the world every day. And I was lucky to came across a friend who had discovered the course a couple of years early and was actually already practicing therapy with a teacher, which is Sharon, who leads our community today. And Myrene, who was Sharon's student, was becoming close friend of mine, and she told I wasn't having a good time with my current life. And we, for the first time, had a conversation about, what's God? What's love? Why are we here? And she said, you know what? You should maybe try to meet Sharon, my therapist. Maybe she will have some perspective that you would like to know. And it all started. My life changed within like a week of those first conversations. I had like super bad economic situation. I found a different job the next week after my first therapy, and my whole life started changing. And since then, we created this community that today I'm here representing. Actually, the practices I've been forming myself in are named come from a school that its name is Spanish, Aprendiendo a Ser, which is in English, learning how to become yourself. And it comes from a practice of the course that started from two doctors in Venezuela in the late 90s. And it's been, developing from all these years. And today we're like huge community of people all over the world. And in Panama, a group of 7 friends that we were sharing our practices, every day, and having therapy together, group sessions every Thursday night, week by week, to share how we were feeling, open up, being vulnerable, talk about bigger fears. And today, one day we said, we have to open this up for more people. And we created this Instagram page, which is a community, oneness community, where we open our teaching and messages for everyone to join us. And we have meetings regularly in Spanish currently, but we look forward to, spread the message much over the world. And that's why I'm so happy of being here representing my team today, because it's our first time doing an activity in English, and it's such an honor to be here. So pass the ball for someone else to introduce yourself.
I thank you, each of you who are speaking in English here. I have tremendous gratitude and respect for you doing that. I could probably only do this. The other language would be Nepalese, which wouldn't help a lot of people in the world. So I really do thank you for participating in English. Okay, Paulinha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Paulinha.
And I'm Gabriel.
We are here in Brazil, and yeah, it's an honor to be here and to share about our experience with the course and with this deep and beautiful teachings that actually transformed our life in like such a deep and unexpected way. And yeah, I
Well,
think
your ages? How
I'm
old are you?
34.
And I'm 32, and we're from Brazil.
Thank you. Thank you. And how did you come to the course, each of you?
I have the feeling that the course found me when I was like 23, I think, 22. I'm terrible with time and
I am
counting.
too. I am too.
I always have to go to my Instagram to remember like the dates and yeah, like.
Oh, you can make it up. It's all made up anyway.
Yeah, I like that. That's what I believe. I love it. So yeah, I think I was like in a very depressed time in my life when the course found me. I had like a burnout, and I was like a seeker since I was very young. My mom said that when I was like 8, she was like embarrassed to take me to the church because I was that child that go in front and talk to the priest and was like asking the deep questions and wanted like the answer like really. So I was like a seeker, but at the same time I was like I don't know, I like it like manifest, and I manifest like the life that I wanted, like the job, the house, the boyfriend at that time. And I felt empty and in a very deep depression. And I think I was really tired of seeking when the course found me. And since the first time I opened this this book, I knew my life will never be the same. And yeah, I had like a very beautiful and deep mystical experience like with Jesus. At that time I was so afraid of even this name, but was so deep and like a huge love. And yeah, I gave my life over to it, and since then I feel and hear him guiding me, and he brought me Gabriel. Like
who did someone hand you the course? Did you find it somewhere?
actually it was like I read the Power of Now, and the book really changed me, and actually I gave to him as a gift.
Thank you.
And this was our connection. And in one day I was having like a very, like I was burning out really from the job, and in the same day 3 people talked to me about the book, and I think it was like spirit like say, this is for you, this is for you. I was so resistant, but when the 3rd person said, I felt something really like, okay, I got to. And then I bought the book, and yeah, it was this. And he actually, when I bought it, it's been like 10 years. It was so hard to find it in Brazil. So I'm so grateful for Grupo Mera and Maria Mera that now are great partners of us here. And yeah, it's so beautiful to see the book spreading. And because when first came to me here in Brazil, was like a mysterious, and nobody was talking about it, and feels so beautiful to see like Brazilians and our friends open up their hearts to it.
Oh, that's wonderful. And Gabriel?
Well, when I was a child, I always had a question in my mind that was, if there is no world, what would exist? Like if there's nothing, what would exist? And I used to hear music, very gentle music, and I had the intuitive feeling of like kneeling and having this deep love and emotion. And I started studying a lot of physics. That was my first opening to a skeptic mind, to see that this world is not what it appears to be. But then in high school, I was like the fat little boy that everyone was making jokes, and everyone had more money than me. So I had a vengeance plan with the world, which was becoming rich. So everything, I like stopped studying physics, and I started an entrepreneur journey at 18 years old. And I wanted to be successful and rich and everything. And 4 years later, I was in a deep, profound depression. I just had debt, no money. I had to walk 50 minutes to the office because I didn't have money to pay the gasoline of the car that was in a debt. And in this collapse of the ego and all these ego goals, I started to find the light of who I really am in the present moment state of mind and awareness of dreaming. And then that's when I found Paulinha, and she was also in this search. And we Power of Now was like intuitive, all that we were talking about together. And then it came the course. And then when I stopped chasing what I thought that I wanted, everything started to come when I found in a shared purpose a way to be like serving in seemingly entrepreneur journey, but with the purpose in mind. And new waves of dismantling of the ego came. Like it became like I was a tech entrepreneur, and it became a big company with thousands of employees, and I sold the company, and I was the CEO. And then how to be David Hofmeister, which is a teacher of us, he says you can't be a CEO and be enlightened at the same time. So how to, but my only goal is peace of God, and that whatever comes, that can be used for that. And now I am in this transition to be fully a teacher of God, and watching all this happen. So thank you all.
You. That's beautiful. And you can be anything you want and have peace. That's what's so nice about the course. And that's also why the author of the course said this is a course in miracles, not the course in miracles. It's called A Course in Miracles because there are many other ways, but this way is a pretty straight path up the mountain. But you can do it and be anything else you want, except dualistic in your mind. And be dualistic in your mind, but the practice is to bring you to the happy dream, in which it's, you can still be participating in this dream of sort and just be non-attached. And that's so really beautiful story. Thank you so much. And Isabel.
Hi, everyone. I'm Isabel. I'm currently in the Netherlands. I'm 25 years old, and Course in Miracles came into my life I have a distinct memory from when I was 17, and I was just dealing with so much anxiety and self-hatred and depressive thoughts. And there's this moment that I just, through just beautiful logic, like this, I just had the thought well up in me, like there has to be another way, and I could just feel it so strongly. I have to, if I believe love exists, which I do, then there must be a way to get out of those feelings. And then it was only like half a year later that my mom asked me if she could buy me A Course in Miracles for my birthday. And I said yes, like, okay. I felt there was some kind of willingness to try. And because initially I just felt like that was something that was her thing.
Oh, I know that one.
Yeah. But yeah, I just felt like I really needed something. And then the most interesting thing for me was when I would feel, I would, in the first year, I would only really pick it up when I felt really depressed. And then I would read 2 lines at maximum because I couldn't really read a lot more initially. And I didn't really understand what it said, which was very strange for me. But still, it's just like this one, I would have to read only 1 line and it would just lift something. And I didn't know what happened. But then I would close it. I was like, oh, I feel good. And that just kept drawing me in. Like, what is it? It's like, I don't understand any of it, but it's very helpful. It's very uplifting, and it touched me very deeply, which I still don't understand. It just I just feel very deeply touched when I read through Course in Miracles, or I listen to teachers, and yeah, it just keeps
Thank you.
yeah, keeps this spark of like the curiosity, keeps it alive.
The nice thing about the course is that you don't have to understand it for it to work. And as you practice it and as you do the lessons more and more or read more and more, an understanding develops because it teaches you what it's about. And that's why we kind of call it a living document, because it will reach you at any level you are. 10 years later, you'll read the same sentence you thought you finally understood, and there it is in a deeper meaning. And I absolutely love that you mentioned a willingness, because as you know, in the course, it says all you need is a little willingness and angels rush in to help. And so your willingness to let that be given to you for your birthday just obviously seemed to open some doors for you. So I'm really glad to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Nana.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nana Bregvadze, and I am from Tbilisi, Georgia. Currently, I'm in Brazil. I'm 26 years old. I found the course, I think, when I was 22, 23 years old. I think it was more like, I feel like my life was a preparation for the course. That's how it felt. Like, it's not just finding it. It was like, it was every step in my life was just leading to that moment. And since I was a child, I had a lot of emotions. I was very emotional, and I didn't know how to deal with that. And I did not have anyone to teach me how to deal with the emotions. So I felt like there was this darkness in my mind. And because I didn't know how to deal with it, I just decided not to think about it at all. So I just started trying to live a normal life, to learn, to study at university. But I think I reached the point when I was disappointed, because I had this sense of that I had a mission, I had something to do, and I wanted to serve, and I wanted to do something that would bring good. And that was the reason why I chose to study international law. And I was looking into human rights and everything, but I was disappointed because I realized that everything was about politics, and I didn't feel like I could bring something, I could change something. So I remember I was very depressed. I think it was my second year. And then I found Osho's book. He was doing the commentary on Jesus, one of the Gospels of Jesus. So that was like a new, for me, like spirituality. I didn't know anything about spirituality, anything about meditation. So I started meditating, and then that changed my mind. But I was into new age things. I was interested into psychic abilities and everything. But then I realized, oh my God, my mind is too unstable. I cannot I cannot do that. I need something deeper. And I remember I was experiencing, like similar to Isabel, I was experiencing a lot of guilt, a lot of fear, because I didn't know what my life was for. And then I thought, okay, if I experience these feelings, then there must be an answer to these feelings. It can't be that there is no answer. And I think within a week after that, I found the course, but it was very random. I was listening to the YouTube video and someone in the comments mentioned some teacher, and I looked it up, and a course was mentioned many times in that video. So I was like, what is that? What is that, A Course in Miracles? I decided to look it up, and I thought, okay, if I need to purchase that book, I'm not going to even bother. So if it's free, I'm going to read it. If it's not, I'm not going to bother to read it, because by that time I read many things, like new age things, weird things. So I was like, I don't need a theory. I need something practical. I looked it up, and it was free, of course. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do the workbook lessons. I don't need a theory. And if it works, then I'm going to continue. And I think I did first 10 lessons, and I really, really did it. Like the whole day I had that lesson in my mind. And then I realized, oh my God, this really works. So then I started reading the core text and the rest of it, and really going for it. And another big point for me was realizing that I can be guided by Jesus. Because when I was into new age things, they were talking about creating your reality and stepping into your power. And I didn't feel powerful. I felt weak from inside. And I was like, how do I do that? But then when I found out that I can actually receive practical guidance and receive help, and I don't need to make decisions, I can give those decisions over. That changed my life. And it was really easy for me to give everything up and to just jump in fully. And I think 3 months ago, I just received this guidance to travel, and to travel like under divine guidance, divine providence. And that's how I live. And my passion, I think, is just following and listening to that voice that speaks for God, and just experiencing that presence and feeling of guidance, and how practical it is, and how simple it can be if I decide that I can actually hear and I can actually receive the answer. So I feel like my life is like a life of transformation, and I'm so excited and so inspired, and I'm so grateful for all the gifts that I received.
Thank you. Thank you. I have to say you totally made my day, because we did a lot of asking around like the web edition, if it should be free of charge or not, because it costs the foundation a tremendous amount, and it continuously, like a living document, needs help upgrading and interactivity. And we kept hearing against all business sense that it needed to be free of charge. And so I love that you said, if it's not free, I'm not going to do that. I feel like all I wanted was for one person out there, for it to touch and draw in, which they wouldn't have been able to do otherwise, even though we do have a scholarship program. So people can ask for the book if they can't afford it, but they don't really know that much. And I don't think you would have researched that much to get to there. So I'm so thrilled to hear that. And thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Also, I wanted to just mention here that so many youth who I have spoken to, of my son who is 26 and his friends and generation, there's so much about, do I have a purpose? It's like purpose is the new key word for making people anxious. What's my life's purpose? What is that? And, in my generation, I don't think anyone really asked much about what their life purpose was. It was like, what job do they have to do? Things like that. But there's a beautiful side to that, but it's also can be very confusing. And as people seem to come to the course, they realize it doesn't have to be the purpose on the outside that they thought. It's how the inner peace comes with whatever you do, and however you extend love becomes part of that purpose. And some people sure have like very distinctive career paths, but that's not necessarily their life purpose, which according to the course is to extend love. And it makes it so much more simple. So thank you for reminding me that. And Luana.
Luana, I'm 27 and I'm from Brazil. I found the course when I was 23. I was in my friend's house, and then I saw the book. I said, what is this book? And then I just opened, and then the first thing that I read was like a big answer for something that I was going through. And I said, what is that? And I was in the spiritual journey already, but I was seeking, and then when I read the course, the book, and I said, oh my God, this is the end of the line. I don't know if I'm ready to the end of the line now. Maybe I want to mess around a little bit more. So it was amazing when I found the course, but I got kind of terrified too, because I don't know. I think I wasn't ready to the love. And then I had a journey of going back and forth with the course, like, oh, I love the course. No, I don't need the course. I love the course. I don't need the course. And then I started doing the lessons. And then I remember that I stopped in the lesson 98 that says, I will accept my part in God's plan for salvation. I said, I don't know what is my part. I don't know if I want to accept. I don't know what God is going to ask for me. I'm going to stop this course now. Because I was like so afraid with all of these sacrifice ideas in my mind. And, oh, God may want to take something away from me and all of these ideas. And then I remember when Gabriel said about the CEO thing, I have the same thing with David. I said, oh, David, I want to talk to you. I have just one question. I love this course, but why I cannot be a CEO and be enlightened? I want to be a lot of things here. Why something in the form can prevent me from like being what I am? So I had this kind of struggle for some time, and I spent 6 months in the community in the beginning of this year, and then I decided to come back to Brazil and bring what I learned with the course and with the community to like daily life. I was feeling like I want to bring this to people in the streets, to my family, to my old friends. I want to find a way to bring this, to extend this to everyone, even people that don't want to hear about Jesus and anything. So yeah, it was like it's been a beautiful journey now that I'm starting to share this in I don't know, in a way, I'm still finding out, but in a way that people don't feel like what I felt in the beginning. Like, I don't want this. I don't want this sacrifice. I don't want to leave people that I love. I don't want to leave job, blah, blah, to go, like to let go these ideas of sacrifice and to form right forms or wrong forms or, so yeah. It's been a nice journey, and I'm grateful to be here. Thank you.
So glad you're here. You make me really laugh. First of all, as far as a CEO, you can be, as I said, a CEO. You just can't think you're a CEO. I never wanted to be the president of the Foundation for Inner Peace, and I kind of laugh every time someone mentions that I am that, because I'm not that. I'm, playing in that role. Also, when we first did our web edition, I was very excited to show it to people. And the first person I showed it to, they said, well, what can you search for? And I said, pick a word, any word. And they kind of looked at me and I said, okay, well, like surrender. And we put in surrender, and surrender didn't show up. And I was like, wait a second, it must be broken. And indeed, surrender does not show up once in A Course in Miracles. And letting go does, and all sorts of other release but not surrender. So we don't have to give up anything but our attachment to grievances, to move into forgiveness, attachment to believing that we are something other than love. Those are the things that we're asked to move into, and not even really give up, but learn otherwise and retrain. And you're reminding me of when I was 10 and my mother was talking all about enlightenment. And for anyone in the audience who doesn't know, my mother was the person who was the founder of Foundation for Inner Peace and first published A Course in Miracles with the scribes. And or really for the scribes too. But she was talking about enlightenment and, waking up from the dream and how amazing it was. And I said, is that going to happen anytime soon? And she said, well, I don't know anyone's path, but probably not right away for you and me. And I said, oh, good. Thank God I'm having too much fun right now. And so I understand that feeling of what am I being asked to give up? But I have found in my life that instead of looking at what I'm giving up, it's what's being given, what's taking its place naturally without my having to let go kicking and screaming, because I'm very rebellious. So it's so much better to go in and see what's being given instead of like, but don't take that away, and not that person, and not this. And it really is, especially when you have a passion for life, and those who come in who are not, like we've heard a lot about anxiety and depression that brings people to the Course. And that's really common. And in the generations coming up now, all the messaging of the world may not be here, there's war, there's this, there's all the atrocities, climate change, it becomes a big weight as you believe in this form of the world. So, so the Course is such a welcome, like, oh my God, I don't have to, believe in those things in the same way. But if you come ebullient and joyous of life, it looks like, wait, what do I have to give up? This isn't such a bad thing here. And so it's a balance. It's really, what is it that's being given? So thank you for bringing that up. I really appreciate it. And Cory, who are you, Cory?
Hi, everyone. I'm Cory. I live in Arizona in the United States. I am 30 years old, and I discovered the Course when I was 26, but there's kind of a funny story around it, so I want to give some background. I grew up in a Christian household, so that was my background. I went to a private Christian school, so I knew the Bible really well. But when I went to college, I became a lot more skeptical of religion in particular. I became more atheist, agnostic. But I was into Alan Watts, Abraham Hicks, and so things about we're all one were very natural to me, as well as serving others and loving others. I always had that. But when I was 26, I met this woman who lived in Paris. She also worked at Google. And one time I went to Paris to visit her, and Notre Dame caught on fire when I was there. And it was kind of a very coincidence, how did that happen? And also her grandmother passed away when I was there, and all these things were synchronizing in my life that I couldn't explain. And so I wanted to dive deeper into well, what is happening? So I was exploring all these spiritual materials, channeled material, and I discovered A Course in Miracles on YouTube. And I started doing the daily lessons on YouTube. I just listened to them, and I remember I started a few times because each time I'd hear a lesson, and it's just is this good for me? It's this doesn't mean anything. It's well, if it doesn't mean anything, well, what will I become? And so I was kind of scared of it. But there's another aspect of me that's very curious and experimental, and wanted to just see, well, if I keep doing it, what will happen? So I kept doing the lessons. And this girl in Paris kind of fell away too, but she would draw things on Instagram, and they like lined up with my life, and it was just like things that I couldn't explain were happening. And so I kept diving deeper and deeper into like, how can I explain all these things? And it seemed like miracles were happening, and so it seemed to line up with my studies of A Course in Miracles. So I think it was like on lesson 60 or something, or somewhere in there, and I got like a calling to like take some marijuana edibles. So this is kind of an interesting experience, but that's what I did. I did that, and I had this, and I don't normally like do much drugs. I don't drink much, so it's kind of out of my routine. But I tried it, and I had like this mystical experience that I just knew without a doubt God existed, and so just like everything made sense, and it was like a mystical experience where just like everything was just like perfect. And it's like a vision beyond what I can explain with words, but it was enough to transform my whole life. And so at that point, I when I was working at Google, I was like really all about like trying to advance my career, you know, make more money. That was more my focus. But after this experience, it was like none of that matters anymore. Just like I want to help people find peace and love and joy. So I decided to quit my job. And as you can imagine, my family was not too happy about that. And especially A Course in Miracles, they're more conservative Christian. They weren't too happy about that either, about A Course in Miracles. But it was just what was right for me at that time. And so I spent a couple of years just traveling the world, and I read through the text a couple of times. I did all the lessons for the whole workbook, and I think once I went through this whole process, I felt a lot more established in the course. I also study a lot of other spiritual material. I'm really interested in metaphysics. But then this opportunity came up to work at the Foundation for Inner Peace as a software engineer. And so that's what I've been doing for the last couple of years. And I think I just see how the Holy Spirit worked through all of this with the course and the studying to bring me to where I am today, where I'm at this opportunity where I can bring my skills as a software engineer and my spiritual interests together. But yeah, that was probably a lot of information, but I appreciate you for listening.
And boy, have we needed Cory, his skills, but really especially his love, his attitude, his humor, and his patience. Has been absolutely extraordinary. And he's going to have a little moment to show what he's been working on in a little bit. So thank you, Cory.
Thank you.
Terri.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hey, my name is Terri Waard, and I'm here in San Francisco Bay Area. And my journey with A Course in Miracles, I'll just say it basically started when I was searching for truth. I think a lot of people here kind of said that, but I found the movie The Secret, and I was trying to find the secret. What's the secret to this life? Yeah, what's my purpose? What am I supposed to do here? So I found The Secret, some of the Seth teachings, Abraham Hicks. So I was just YouTubing a lot of things, and I would get these recommended videos. So I was just going down the rabbit hole of YouTube and all of, whatever was brought to me around like quantum physics and I don't know, black holes. I was just going deep into all of it. And then one of these movies said we're already dead. And I was like, what in the wild? This is crazy. And so, so then it was maybe that video or another video. It said, listen to Disappearance of the Universe. If this sounds interesting to you, if you like this video, you probably would like Disappearance of the Universe. And I was like, well, that sounds like a crazy title, like Disappearance of the Whole Universe. Like, what is, but I was like, I'm in, I want to find the truth. I want to figure out what is going on here. And so I got Disappearance of the Universe. This was probably when I was like 2017. And this is, so I'm 35 now. So, whatever that math is. So 2017, I got Gary Renard's Disappearance of the Universe. And when I read it, I was like, this is just fascinating. And it felt so true. I was like, this just feels like, like this world, like this doesn't, 'cause 2010, 2011, I got into Christianity. My mom was a hippie, like peace, love, and sunshine. And that was awesome. But then it felt like there was no meaning and purpose into that. Like, oh, here's a beautiful sunset and we're here to spread love. But then I felt like we just turned to dust and that's it after. So I went to church 2011 after a really dark night. My friend brought me to church. So, I think, all paths are necessary. So it all kind of little by little, the conspiracy theories, the Christian church for a bit, all of it led me here. So I'm so grateful. So I got 2017 was Disappearance of the Universe. I went through this breakup, a 6-year boyfriend just left. So it was a perfect time to have Disappearance of the Universe. 'Cause I was so sad. Like, I just felt like, like that original separation, like my life is ruined, like, after this breakup, because it was like 6 years, in my 20s, like the longest relationship I had been in. So, it was just such a beautiful text to have at that moment. It was exactly what I needed. And then I was like, I want to hear this person speak. So 2019 is when he was speaking in Boston at a Course in Miracles conference. And so I was like, I want to hear Gary Renard speak. And so then I was like, well, if I'm going to go to this conference, and he had mentioned it in the book a couple times, but it didn't prompt me to get the book until I went to the conference. And so at 2019, went to the conference. So it took me a couple months before I started studying the book. And when I first read Nothing Real Can Be Threatened and Nothing Unreal Exists, that first page, I just sat with it for like a week. And I was like, oh my God, I don't even know what to do with that. That means so much in this world can be threatened. Everything, decays and rots and dies. So it was really interesting. Just undoing all of it. And then even before I went to the conference, one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to go to the conference was I had this experience of, they say like revelation, but I was just like, one morning I just woke up and then I was just in this, feeling love, just feeling so much love and like surrender, surrender. We just talked about that. But, one time I just was like, so, and then I just got consumed with this feeling. And it was just like, it wasn't a image. It wasn't anything like that. It was just a feeling of like expansiveness, like no body, no limits. And I was consumed with so much love. Like it was just like expansive. Like I just want to burst kind of love. And it was so much peace and knowing. It was a knowing so deep that like everything's perfect. Everything's exactly perfect. And it was just a beautiful moment that I always can anchor in. And so then once I started getting into the course, I realized, I don't want anything of this world. I want that moment. And it was like a moment that was now and always. It was this expansive moment that goes on forever, but it's now. It was just all encompassing always. This is it. This is all the love, all the peace, all the joy you could ever want or could stand. It was just like, like beautiful. And so anyways, I just always come back to that moment. And from there, I understand why, like, you want nothing of the world. So like even Ferraris, mansions, the best food in the world, all the travel, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even compare even a little bit to this beautiful loving feeling that I experienced. And so that's kind of my journey with the course so far. And I did write yeah, right. And it's only been like 5 years. I wrote a book too called A to Z Happy, and I talk a lot about the course because the course is what brought me so much joy. The book actually started off as a mindset book because I was like The Secret, and we're gonna make a happy dream, happy 3D world. It was just like use your mind to attract things into your world because that was the secret that I learned. And so, but then once I got into Course in Miracles, I'm like, you can attract what you want and be a happy dreamer, have fun in the dream, but that's not what it's about. Like the happiness comes from that peace and love of God. So that's it. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. I love your exuberance in this, and really excited by that. That's where you are so far. And I would say that's so far so good. That's great. Good for you. And the experience of this is truly what teaches us the truth. Whether you resonate with what the course says is through the experiences that you have. Otherwise, throw it away. And if it's yours, it will come back and hit you in the head. Literally, it's fallen out of trees, it's fallen off of shelves. And the way it resonates is not just through intuition or an intuitive feel like that sounds about right, but these experiences that are reflected. So, and they will happen more and more and more. And there is, just like A Course in Miracles, there's many ways to achieve these, but I've been hearing, and it makes me smile because I love all the different flavors and personalities and ways that people come to the course. But even when they're deeply involved in the course, and I don't condone any of this either way, but I also don't judge it, there are people doing a lot of ayahuasca ceremonies, and when they do them, they're reading the course during it, and in these states to get deeper and deeper, and all sorts of, different, like the gummy bears, but actually taking them and doing the course with it to understand it on a deeper level. And, if that's part of it, then, and it helps wake up, but not to rely on that. The actual clarity of really hearing it, feeling it, and developing this inner guidance to tell you what is your way, and how to have these experiences more is really, really powerful. So thank you. And Samaa.
Hi, everyone. My name is Samaa. I'm from Canada. Woo! We had our Thanksgiving back in October because it's like cold and dark now. It's officially winter here. So happy Thanksgiving to my American neighbors coming up, but it is the perfect time to talk about gratitude and being thankful for everything we have in our life. I'm 33 years old. I came across the course in my mid-20s, just like so many of my peers here. I had what people consider the dark night of the soul. It was my first time leaving home after studying, and I was actually working at the 911 call center for the RCMP, which is the Canadian Police Force here. And I've always been sensitive, even as a child. I would take home people's emotions. And so, as you can imagine, not the best combination, hearing the worst of the worst on the phone and then going home with that. So I fell into a deep depression. And honestly, I feel God will work with you where you're at. At that point, I am of South Asian heritage. So with that culture clash, I had been exposed to different belief systems. Christianity, I grew up Muslim, but very open-minded. So Canada is a very multicultural place. So I have participated in many different traditions. And the one thing that I just couldn't wrap my head around was a lot of religious dogma is fear-based. We think that God is mad at us or disappointed at us if we don't follow these very specific set of rules. And I just felt that, well, if God created us, why aren't we allowed to be authentic? Like, why would a God get mad at us for being true to ourselves? And so I had left religion in my teenage years. And when I went through my depression later in my 20s and I found a course in miracles, I was just floored because this was the answer I was looking for. Here was a God that loved us for who we were, and kind of explained that as long as you're not hating people or hurting people in your life, and even that is an illusion, right? And so that completely comes from a fear that is not real, and that really spoke to me. And so I have been studying the course for the last 10 years now, and I now teach the course through my YouTube channel, Mediocre Guidance. My aim is to do so in a very lighthearted and informal tone, just like this discussion here today. Anyone of any level, like whether you're new to the course or experienced, is welcome to enjoy my content. My only warning is that I use cringy millennial slang. So you'll have to tolerate that. I'm trying to keep up with the young kids, and it's getting harder and harder with each passing year. But my intention is to introduce a new generation to the course because honestly, I think a lot of us grew up with the advent of the internet. We were here before and we're here now after. And social media has just taken over our lives. Like, if you're a young person trying to navigate the world, we have to rely on the internet. That's just how it is now. But at the same time, we're seeing unprecedented rates of anxiety, depression, people's self-esteem hits rock bottom because we're constantly comparing ourselves to others. And I think the course just does such a wonderful job of saying, you are perfect the way you are. You don't have to do anything as long as you listen to the Holy Spirit within your heart. And so I'm very passionate about that message. I want to spread it to as many people as possible. So I'm going to use the internet. I'm going to turn the tables on that thing and try to spread the message. And I'm very, very blessed and honored to be here with you guys, with such amazing people. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And even the reminder that it's not just a God that loves us, but that we actually are that God that loves us. And to remove all the blocks from the the awareness that we're not, and realize the experience again, that we can experience that state of love, really helps tremendously, especially with all the anxiety that so many people have now. So thank you for that. Thank you for doing what you're doing. I see each of your passion is so strong, and I love it so much. And I enjoy hearing, as they say, the different flavors of, I want someone to hear this, whether they know it or not, or whether they even want it or not, because I didn't want it at first. And I'm much more of I want everyone to be able to hear about the course, to see if it's for them, to see if it resonates for them. And sometimes it doesn't at first, and 10 years later, it suddenly does. And sometimes it doesn't at all, but they're on an equally strong path that will bring them the same thing. We hope, but it really, I love the enthusiasm of spreading the word, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. It's so nice to know that during these hard times, people are given the opportunity to know that they can see things another way. And I think it really matters. So, Ivonne.
Hey everyone, my name's Ivonne. I'm 24 years old. And yeah, I'm originally from Ireland, but I'm currently living in Mexico as of yesterday. So yeah, but the course came into my life. Basically, my mom asked me to order it for her because she had read A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. So she asked me to order for her online. And it looked like a kind of a curious book, like, oh, it's really big. And yes, then it came in the post, and she just didn't end up reading it. And I did start to read it. Like, I would just kind of open it up, and I didn't really understand, what it was even saying, but it was drawing me in, kind of similar to Isabel's experience, so that was kind of early last year that I kind of started reading sections here and there. And then I graduated from college and I moved to New York City straight away. And yeah, I started doing the lessons, and I remember I got to lesson 9 and I just started to feel my mind expanding so much, but I wasn't ready, I think, at that time to kind of delve like really deeply into the teachings just yet. Like, I had this social life in New York, going to like rooftop bars and being a bit wild in that way. Yeah, so then it was kind of toward the end of last year, I started to feel this sense of emptiness just from the life I was having, like the social life, and just being very externally focused on, everything New York has to offer, to indulge your senses, like partying and dinners and, all of that. So yeah, I kind of just felt, okay, I feel ready to go deeper. And then at the very start of this year, I got this corporate job in New York City. And funny enough, I wrote that down, that I wanted a job, that paid this much money, and I wanted this type of a social life in New York, and everything came true. Like, I manifested the life I thought I wanted. But then when I got that corporate job, I just hit rock bottom. I just thought to myself, this is crazy how people are living their lives. I was working as a tech support engineer. So yeah, we would have people calling in with tech issues. And I remember there was this one day that a woman rang in and she had a complete meltdown on the phone to me. Like, I hate my life. I'm working 12 hours a day, every day at this company, and I want to kill myself. And, she just, completely broke down. And to me, that just struck me so much. Like, oh my God, this is the reality of the life people are living. And yeah, everyone is kind of encouraged to get these corporate jobs and, to be successful in that way, but people are miserable and people feel empty inside. And I felt empty inside. I remember feeling like I was just totally in prison with that job, like working 9 to 6 every day and not really having much time for anything else but just working. And yeah, so yeah, then that's when I kind of started doing the lessons, actually, consistently, because yeah, I was just totally gravitating toward the course as a way to pull me through this darkness and this total disillusionment. Like, I can't believe this is society, like this is the world we live in right now. And yeah, so doing the course lessons every day just was what pulled me through. And then I remember, yeah, I just, one night I came home from work and I just lay on my wooden floor of my apartment bedroom, and I was just sobbing from the depths of my soul, like, please God, if you exist, I can't do this anymore. Please save me. I need help. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've, manifested all these things. I've been chasing happiness since I was, as long as I can remember, because that's our true nature. So of course that's what we're doing. But yeah, so I just totally asked for help. And I remember I read A Return to Love actually when I was like 16, and I remember Marianne Williamson saying this, sorry, Marianne Williamson, she said in her book that she prayed to the spirit, if I have to hit rock bottom to awaken to your love, God, let that happen. And I remember at 16, I had that same prayer, like, okay, you know what, if it takes hitting rock bottom to just totally give my life over to the spirit, let it be. So I felt like that was my moment on the wooden floor. And then, yeah, really soon after I found out about the Living Miracles community, and it all just started flowing from there. I quit my job and came here. But yeah, I don't know, I've always known that this type of a life was meant for me. Like, I was always meant to end up on the spiritual path. Like, I have always been a seeker. Like, from the age of 12, I think I was trying to levitate off chairs, and I'd be in school and the teacher would be, I don't know, putting some equation on the maths board, and I'd just be looking at my hands like, what is this? Like, what's going on? So yeah, yeah, it just feels really right to be where I am right now. And yeah, I'm so grateful. Like, the teachings are just so beautiful in the course. Like, Jesus really gives it to us straight, so we're really blessed to have it. And yeah, just to be awakening to love. So that's kind of my story, I guess.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
Mexico is a nice place to be for the winter.
Definitely.
So, I'm glad your path sounds really perfect for you.
Mm-hmm.
And Veronica.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here with us. My name is Veronica Mejia Barney. If I say it in Spanish and English, I'm like Veronica. I am originally from Colombia, South America, but I live in Cold Springs, Florida, and I'm sad to say that I'm now 30. I just left the 29th floor, so I'm still like accepting that. But the course obviously is really helpful with us realizing that, we're not our bodies and our age is whatever. I met the course when I was 8 years old. My mom started practicing it, and she tells a story that she would take me to the sessions and I would like fall asleep in like the chairs in the back and kind of like absorb all of that. Then I think she had moved to the States and I stayed living with my grandparents, and just went through like a very fast childhood of growing up to be an adult. And I always felt like I was a little bit more mature than my age, but I had obviously a lot of things to grapple with. And I think my mom leaving me, now I don't think of it as leaving me, but at that point it felt like that. It sped up my process, and I went through like heartbreak and depression from that. And also I had some family members that were dealing with addiction, and I was kind of called up to sort of be like an adult within the family to help with that situation. And I was 14 and I was like, this is a lot. So like Ivonne was saying now, like I remember just like kneeling down one night and screaming out of the top of my lungs, like, if there's anything out there, I need help, because like I'd rather not continue to live than continue feeling this way. And shortly after that, a friend told me that there was going to be, or she just invited me over to be with her. And she so happened to be going to a Course in Miracles retreat that weekend. And she was like, well, do you want to come? And I was like, yeah, for sure. So I went with her, and yeah, just It felt like my heart was feeling everything that I needed to hear, and I already knew of the course at that point. And that's where I made the decision, okay, like I'm gonna study this and practice it, because it was the first time that I felt like so much relief. And I ended up moving to the States with my mom, where I lived at Endeavor Academy, which many people know is a place dedicated to the study of the course, not the same as the Foundation for Inner Peace, but that's where I grew up. And grew up there until I was like 18. So kind of living in a community that was studying the Course in Miracles all the time, and being a child and trying to have a normal life at the same time, that was also a lot. I then started traveling with several teachers to translate for them, and I was homeschooling myself at the time. And then I think when I was 18, I actually began like teaching the course. And yeah, I mean, the courses, it gave me like a North Star, because I couldn't find, like, I knew that everything in this life was kind of futile, that everything was gonna die, like nothing was gonna last. Anything that you did here was just not gonna make you happy ultimately. And learning of the course and realizing, wow, like the source of my love, the source of what I am, of everything that that is possible is within me. Like I don't have to look for it outside. And that was like just such a blessing, which allowed me to slowly like integrate myself into the world, to have a more normal life, quote unquote, and do have a career and a business and all these things. And but it's still holding onto that mindset. And I do teach the course, I hold workshops and classes and so forth. And at the same time, like I'm here, living my my script the way that it has happened, but keeping that awareness in my mind of what it is that I'm really thinking, and which teacher I'm trusting. And yeah, that's basically it. And I think I missed one part of the question, which was what drew me initially. I just felt the words were so alive and so rich, and I just felt it in my heart, like this is true, and I don't really understand everything, but this is true, so I'm gonna follow it. So yeah.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. And Veronica has been a translator for these webinars, which is into Spanish, which is why it's not being translated today, because she is one of our panelists. And thank you, thank you, thank you. So we were also supposed to have, of course, student, teacher, and somewhat youth, Aaron Abke, join us today, except that he had a double booking and at the last moment couldn't make it. So just wanted to tell the audience, if people were coming to see him, that's what happened. So there are many questions which we will never get through in this time period, but I'm kind of more interested, and we will get to some, I'm sure. Do any of you have questions for each other? Is there something that you want to hear from each other, course related? I want to open it to that first, and if not, I will move on with specific questions. Okay, well, if something comes up along the way, please interrupt and ask one another if there's something you would like to know more about, or want to share perspectives on something. But I think these questions might bring that up anyway. We're not going to each have time for answering each of these questions. So whichever ones resonate most for you, raise your hand, or we'll figure it out how you'll each be able to answer. So I'm going to jump to that. A Course in Miracles often emphasizes the concept of forgiveness, and how has forgiveness played a role in your journey with the Course, and how do you apply it in your daily life? I'm reading this little part here. Have you navigated the difficult shedding of unconscious guilt that inevitably arises when doing the deeper inner work? So, would anyone like to tackle that one? No one. Come on. I know. Okay, Terri.
Yeah, I can talk about forgiveness. I think I missed the last part of the question, but how I tackle forgiveness is I just remember that the world isn't my home. That's not the truth. And so I can just be the gentle observer, as the Course says. And so when something's happening, I let myself be normal. I used to just kind of like, like there's that little that dog and everything's on fire around him. I don't know if you guys seen that meme before, but it's like everything's fine, and it's like madness and fire, like all around. But it's like you could just be like, for me, I'm just a gentle observer, and I just forgive it all, like realizing it's not real, and everything's kind of a mere projection of what's in my mind. And so whatever I'm seeing, if I'm seeing, chaos and craziness, I'm like, I pretty much am creating this because I'm, projecting my guilt onto the world. And so it's like, I want to see this almost because, and I'm grateful when I see it, because then it's like, it shows me that there's a room for forgiveness, or I'm making something real in the world. So, yeah, with how I navigate forgiveness is really just like, let myself be normal, but also, if things happen, if I'm getting, like riled up around something, I just like look outside with Jesus, like, like it's a movie playing, and I'm just like, wow, that's interesting. But I don't let myself not feel it, because I used to not feel it and like everything's fine. But then, yeah, then, I'm just not feeling good because I wasn't letting it like come through me and be expressed. And, so I journal it out, breath work it out, talk it out. But yeah, I just forgive everything in the world and know what it's all really for. So thanks.
Thank you. And thank you for mentioning not to spiritual bypass. Because when you spiritual bypass, that little butt you're sitting on gets bitten. And if you get bitten in that butt, sooner or later, if you override what's seems to be happening in the world of form as well, until your practice becomes so deep that you are continuously aware. And so it's not even a spiritual bypass. It's just a different way of seeing. And I'm gonna bring out this other question, unless anyone has something very specific they still want to say about that. Jenny.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to jump back on forgiveness, because I think it's a really interesting topic when we're starting to learn about the A Course in Miracles. Because for me, I grew up as a Catholic, and we have this conception of forgiveness as something that's like pretty social, like something you give to someone in order to relieve them. And then we have this tool when we learn from the Course that actually forgiveness relieves yourself from whatever is happening and your life. And then there comes the responsibility that you take in when you feel that someone else is doing something that you have to forgive. So I think that I just wanted to share that for me, one of the biggest or most important thoughts on my everyday or my daily basis when I want to stay focused on my right mind, and I want to keep on top of my mind the practices of the Course, is forgive yourself and choose again. And we repeat this between the community every day, and whenever we share something that we're feeling not well, between my friends and the people from Oneness, we're always coming back to, hey, look, forgive yourself and choose again. You have a new opportunity. So start over. You can pick a different way to lead this. And that's magic for me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Could I share some thoughts on forgiveness too?
Of course you can. And I hope you notice how I just mentioned your name and Jenny suddenly could start speaking.
Yep, it's funny how that works.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite definitions of forgiveness is losing all hope of a better past. And I sort of view like the idea that we want a different past is like a projection. We're trying to like say that something should be different. And then like extension is like just accepting whatever happens and building on top of it. So no matter what people do around you, you can like, if you think of like an improv, you just go with it. Like say, okay, this is what's happening. I'm gonna just go on top of it without trying to change it. And I at least for me, that's how it helped me a lot in my forgiveness, is just what can I do to just keep going from it without trying to change it. But yeah.
Yes. Nana.
Yeah, to me, forgiveness is like I don't even assume what forgiveness is and what that process is. Jesus does say in the course is look, wait, and judge not. And that is a practice every time something triggers me. But to me, it's like assuming that I know even what forgiveness means. It's like I don't know. So to me, that process is like asking for help, to remember like, okay, Jesus, help me. And that's been one of the inspiring ways of witnessing how Jesus works in my mind. Like whenever I'm upset, I do believe that it's real and it is intense. But whenever I ask for help, it's like sometimes, most of the time, Jesus brings me questions to question those thoughts that I'm thinking and that are looping in my mind. So for me, forgiveness process is very closely related to connecting with Jesus and the Holy Spirit and asking for help and then following guidance through that. And through that, I have been experiencing this deep, intimate connection and presence in my heart. So that's been my experience. And I really enjoy seeing like how Jesus works in my mind, and he's always there to guide me through the process.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Can any of you or all of you share personal experience or transformation that you attribute to practicing the principles of A Course in Miracles? And in that, like, what perceived problem is most common, do you think, for the younger generation? Kind of two different questions there, but the first one really is sharing a personal experience of transformation where you see the Course is actually working and changing you and your way of seeing. Yeah, Samaa.
So I just want to touch on how forgiveness has changed my life in terms of the Course describing special relationships versus holy relationships. My very, very close friend now is actually an ex that I was with in a long-term relationship that had become toxic and abusive. And I had to release that relationship for my own safety. And of course, trying to get past that, anyone who has suffered abuse knows how traumatic and difficult that is. And in that sort of a case, it's okay to establish your boundaries. Forgiveness does not mean that you start hugging everyone who's hurting you. But for me, it really meant understanding that attack is just a call for help, always. And so because I was so loving in response, even though I had created this space, I never closed the door on that person. I knew that there was something underlying, right? Like usually attack is a symptom of hurt that is occurring underneath. And so we were able to heal that relationship, and not in a romantic way at all, but our bond now is so strong because of that process of forgiveness, where he felt that he was accepted, and I feel that he kind of started to understand God's acceptance and love for him, regardless of his past mistakes. And it really changed his life too. He met God through our challenging experiences together. He now is also very close to God and to Jesus. And I give that all to the Course and how it led me through a very challenging time in my life.
Thank you. Who else? Sorry. Now, you have your hand raised, but I just don't know if it's Paulinha or Gabriel. Or both of you.
Yeah, we're both.
I just wanted to add something too.
Wait, you want to add something to Samaa?
Oh, yeah, I cannot figure out how to do the raise my hand thing. I don't see it. But anyway, I'm on now.
Raise your hand.
Yeah, I was.
I'm sorry. We will come right back to you, Paulinha. Go ahead. Veronica, if you have
I just actually wanted to say something about the previous question, and it's that in this society of like instant delivery, even with the process of forgiveness, sometimes we think that, you know, we're gonna do it and then all of a sudden like everything is gonna be clear and we're gonna feel at peace and not feel anger or judgment towards another person or ourselves. And I just wanted to add that the beauty of the course, at least in the way that I experience it, is realizing that it is really like through the Holy Spirit's help or through Jesus's help in my mind where that complete healing happens. And like I am willing and I'm there recognizing my choice for specialness and being willing to make a different choice. But the actual act of it is, or the healing of it is something that happens so gracefully and miraculously that I cannot intrude that. And I feel like in my process very early on, like I really wanted to make something happen. And it was like, no, this does not happen at your time when you want it. This is not like, it does not follow the laws of the world. It will happen, but yeah, you just have to give it all up. So I just wanted to add that to the previous question.
Thank you. Okay, Paulinha.
Yeah, I was just feeling to share like a personal experience that was like practicing the course that really transformed me. And it's actually about my relationship with Gabriel because yeah, before the course, I had like my list of like a perfect guy that I wanted and I actually manifested. And when I left that relationship was like, I think was like my really wake up call of like, no, actually I don't, as the course says, like I don't perceive my own best interest. And it was really when I was like in this broken heart and really the course, and I said, oh my God, so I don't really know what I want. And I thought I knew. And yeah, I had a very deep moment of like letting go of this list and really hand it over to the Spirit and say, okay, I'm not gonna choose like this anymore. And yeah, my heart was really closed at that time, and Gabriel appeared, and he was complete the opposite that what I had in my personal list. But I was so devoted and really committed with practicing the teachings, and I knew like deep in my heart that God sent him to me. And so I needed to really deal with like all this, like letting go of the preferences and the, like, I know what is good for me. I know like everything, really everything that I wanted, like he was the opposite. And I was feeling like Spirit saying to me, let me show you like what you truly want. So at that time, was like it felt crazy following the book and like this inner guidance telling me the opposite, literally the opposite of everything I believed and I wanted in my life. So at that time felt crazy, but I think my calling was so deep, and I said, okay, I'm gonna trust, because I tried my way. I tried to do everything I thought, and I thought that would bring me happiness, and it didn't. And yeah, I think for me it was like this deep lesson, because today I look in the relationship that we have and all the healings and forgiveness that we been through all these years, and I felt Spirit like really blessing. Yeah.
And I feel that when you're saying that forgiveness and transformation is entangled, like in my experience, like I was looking for Paulinha, and I saw her in my dreams before we knew each other. So when I saw her, I said, I need to get her, I need to be together. And she didn't wanted me. So one day I asked God, what should I do? And he said, it's her. And for me, it was like, you can relax. I about searching and trying to get things in your own way, and then all happened. And there's other situation that for me was really deep, of like giving the control when there was a moment that the company needed a lot of money. We had to raise like tens and tens of millions, and the company was going bankrupt, and we didn't have money for nothing because everything was invested in the company. And I went to a retreat with David on Mexico, I think Mexico, and I was like flying all over the world to try to get some investor and everything. And then I got one investor, and it was on February of 2020. And the guy said to me, no, let's just wait this flu pass and we can do the closing. And the flu was a global pandemic, and he disappeared. And I said, well, in 2 months, I'll have to fire everyone. I don't know what I do of my life. I remember like crying a lot and getting in my knees and saying, Jesus, God, I gave up my way. It's in your hands now. I don't want to do nothing. Take out of my hands. And I'm here, and I just want the peace of God, because I released that. And it was an impossible task, because like it was a pandemic, the world was closed for any types of deal. And like 3 months after that, everything worked beautiful. I wasn't doing anything. I was just taking care and loving everyone and giving up control. And then 3 months after, we have like 5 term sheets, and we sold the company for a global bank. That was something that I couldn't imagine. So the thing that for my self-concept was like big problem and a terrible situation was actually a present. And what I think that the circumstances are always acting is like an invite to kneeling in your mind, like give up your control, throw out of my hands. So, and this happening with Paulinha and with this journey of, it's always about seeing that's nothing to be searched or taken, it's just now, and the awareness of the dream in this instant. Yeah.
I can't imagine you being opposite of everything that Paulinha wanted, because what did you have? Someone horribly unattractive.
I had older guy, sexist guy, and
strong,
strong
without a belly.
And at that time, he didn't have like money to take me out to dinner. At that time, I wanted to go like to good restaurants and yeah, everything. But was like a deep unwinding of like I was like valuing like, and yeah, today I'm feeling so blessed because yeah, I definitely couldn't like choose better. And yeah, it was the biggest acceptance of like my true desire, like what I really desire is peace and happiness and joy. And yeah, and I feel that he was my angel to teach me this.
Thank you for sharing that. I went through something similar in my life and my partners and what I thought I wanted. And even in, you know, all of the manifesting that everyone's talking about. And I remember manifesting the exact house that I wanted, except every little thing was a little bit off. Like I wanted a fireplace, but it didn't work. And I wanted a stained glass window, there was a big hole in it that couldn't be repaired. And I wanted a big Roman kind of tub, and there wasn't a heater, a water heater that could fill this except for about that much at the bottom. And we get so involved in, oh, wow, the ability to manifest, and then getting to release it, to say, I don't know what is best for me. Please give me what is best for me. And it's a powerful moment of transformation. It really is. So thank you for sharing that with us. I love that. Okay, I'm not sure which one of you went first, raised hand, but Isabel.
Yeah, I felt like what currently is really on my mind in terms of how A Course in Miracles, like changed or the change I experienced the most. It's really about feeling a lot of gratitude for my brothers and experiencing that feeling. Where Jesus in A Course in Miracles, he says that that we really just look at our brothers as these figures that are in our way of us trying to do our things, and I was like, oh, you're very yeah, you're right. I would think like that maybe constantly, and now I'm just getting these experiences of just feeling such deep gratitude for just being together and sharing what's in our hearts and sharing this purpose together, and just really, really wanting to feel closely connected. And then yeah, that's a decision that I can make, and I can, like, anything else that comes up, I can just, if I really truly desire to feel connected to the people that that come to me, or that I'm with, or then I can just let go of everything else just through that desire to want to feel connected. And then you get these experiences of just feeling such deep, deep gratitude, and just this, like, it's overflowing. Like, you can't even really you can't even really contain it. It almost feels like it's too much. And yeah, that's just beautiful. And then it's really this, once you have like one or two or three, or you have a couple of those experiences, it's like, oh, I want more of that. That's like the coolest thing I've ever experienced.
Yeah. Transforms you in itself.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. Luana.
So I'd like to share learning experience that I'm having now that the course gave me. I just started to notice that every single thing that I was doing in my life was from a place of lack. Like everything, even studying the course, I said, oh, I'm broken. I need this course to fix me and to improve me. And then I started to be very attentive to that, and to start doing things without being identified, like you said, and and then the life started to bring me things that I have kind of given before, like some things that I used to want in the world, and I said, no, I don't need this, I just want Jesus. And then I let go all of these things, and then now these things are starting to come back to me, like, okay, you want this, this and this. And I said, oh my God, how can I have these things now without being attached, without identification? I saw myself trying to run away. I don't want this. I cannot be attached to this. I'm a Course in Miracles student and blah, blah, blah. And then now I'm kind of learning how to not deny experiences, and how to be in these experiences without being identified. And it's been like a very deep experience for me, because as I noticed, like even the course, I started to get an identification. Like, I'm a Course in Miracles student, so I shouldn't go to this place. I shouldn't be with these people. And then I started to see, like, it's not about that. Jesus is not saying anything about that. How can I embrace the now, the experience of now, from a true place inside of me, releasing these judgments, these identifications, and self-concept, and right and wrong. What should I do? What shouldn't? Since I am a student, so yeah, it's been amazing. It's been amazing.
Thank you.
Challenging, but amazing.
We have another thing that I want to bring up, but Vero, let's hear from you. And then we're going to go through something somewhat quickly. So, Vero?
I'll be super quick.
Veronica? Sorry.
Yes. I wanted to add, and I think we all here can relate to this, but we touched upon earlier the layers of unconscious guilt. And I think all of us going through this process, it's like such an important concept or the experience that we're called to allow ourselves to go into, of seeing the depths of that guilt and like looking at it and being like, oh my God, like I really do hold those super thoughts attached to specialness and wanting to be this way and have it to be my way and being just completely closed off to love. And I feel like for people that come early into the course, there's like a tendency of, oh, you know, well, I'm young, so it'll be really easy for me to step into spirituality and stuff. But it's like, wait, you know, you're still part of the entire mind, and that undoing process still has to take place. It may be different, it may, you know, look a certain way, but it will still happen. And I feel like just not ignoring this idea of guilt that comes into the course so much for a reason. And then on the topic of sharing experiences and how the course and the teaching of forgiveness has helped me. I spoke about my mom earlier and my experience with her, like her moving to a different country when I was really, really young. And my dad had also passed when I was 4 years old. And being able to see that entire experience of abandonment different in a way where I recognized at the end of it all that it was exactly what I needed and it was perfect for me. And I interpreted it as being a victim because I wanted that to be true. But the other alternative was like completely there for me to look at it. And now I'm like just so grateful for everything that my mom did that I once judged. And also this idea that, you know, Gary Renard says, I can't remember which book, but he talks about everyone is doing the best that they can with the level of consciousness where they're at or that they have. And I feel like that is so true and it's so powerfully helpful for us to remember that, you know, everyone is doing the best they can. So that's it.
Thank you. Thank you. So important to remember that. I know Cory wants to give a little presentation. It might have to be abridged, but before that, I'm just going to ask you each in one sentence. So this is a real tough one. In one sentence, what advice would you give to young adults who are interested in starting their journey with A Course in Miracles, but might be hesitant or skeptical? So let's go around. Okay, I'm starting this time with Paulinha and Gabriel. You can all unmute on this one to jump in. Now.
Judge not and be here now.
I would say forget this course and have fun with Jesus.
That. Isabel.
You can be really, really honest with yourself and authentic, and that's gonna lead you straight through.
Thank you. Now.
The journey with the course is just a joyous adventure.
Thank you.
I would say this course only wants to give you, so open yourself to receive everything.
Thank you.
I would pose it. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I would pose it as a question, like, do you want to find infallible inner guidance?
Right. Ivonne?
I would say dare to have the courage to follow your heart and to not put this pressure on yourself to try to contort yourself like a pretzel to conform to the culture of the time and space you find yourself in. Like, just be free, follow your heart, and yeah, It was a long sentence.
Oh, it's a good one. I didn't say you could make it a run-on sentence. And Samaa?
You don't have to be anything more than you are right now. You just have to open the door and just ask and start that conversation with God, and he will be there for you.
Thank you. Terri?
I would say that you have nothing to lose and everything to gain by doing this.
Yenny?
I would say let love come to you. It feels like a warm hug and you probably need it.
Thank you. And Cory?
Seek and you will find.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, Cory, I'm going to hand this over to you for a little short gift that is about to come out, and I'd love to hear your reactions to it. And, you know, the time has just gone by so quickly that I really realized that we have to have another one of these and get to deeper questions for you all. But right now, go for it, Cory.
All right, thank you, Tam. So we're releasing an audio app for the iPhone coming soon. And so you may have listened to the Course in Miracles on Audible or on YouTube, and we found that there's certain issues with using these platforms, and we wanted to create an app just for listening to the course in a nice and easy way. And so we went and asked a lot of different people of like what they wanted, and we went iterated through many designs over the past year. And then today I wanted to show you a demo of what we created, and that will hopefully be released soon for everyone to try. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. Can everyone see the screen? So here's the app. It's a Course in Miracles audio app. And one of my favorite features is that it saves your listening location in every volume of A Course in Miracles, so you can study all of them kind of simultaneously. So the most common use case is like you're going through the text and the workbook at the same time. So you can save your position in both, so you can do like your daily lesson and then jump to the text when you're studying more of the theoretical aspects. And so it's just like a click of a button if you want to pick up where your lesson was for the day.
I cannot weep.
Nor jumps into the audio
pain or feel I am abandoned or unneeded in the world.
Go and pause it. And you might have heard there when I was speaking, the narrator behind it, there was some background music. So this is one of my favorite features because I find that I get distracted or something, but the music kind of helps me tune in more into the course. And we have a number of categories here for the background music, but the calm music is my favorite. And then another cool feature is this speed here. So as we all know, A Course in Miracles is very deep. It's easy to get lost if it goes too fast, or you take more time to comprehend what it's saying. So we added this feature where you could add comprehension breaks between sentences and paragraphs. So as you're listening, it will give like a little break between each sentence so you can get more time to comprehend it. Especially if English is your second language and you're studying English, a lot of people say they really helps them with that, some of our early testers. And you can also speed it up. Some people like to go faster. Maybe if you're just getting some background programming as you're like cleaning or going for a jog, you just want to listen to it, maybe not process it as much, but you want to go a little faster, you can do that. Personally, I like kind of like a short pause as a good listening format. And then one other really cool feature is we added this read along feature. So as you're listening, getting more senses involved at the same time is very helpful. So I'll give you a little demo of what this looks like here.
This is my home, because I judge it not, and therefore is it only what you will. Let me today behold it uncondemned. Through happy eyes, forgiveness has released from all distortion.
And so it highlights the words as you're listening, so it helps you with your comprehension. And you might have noticed the background music and the pauses there. So that's a little demo of our audio player. Also on this home tab, we have the calendar daily lesson. So a lot of people, when they do the lessons, they do them every year. They start on January 1st with lesson 1, and then whatever date is, so now it's November 16th, it corresponds to lesson 320. So it's right in the app here. You can just come click on the daily lesson and jump right into it. If you are doing it at your own pace, there's always this up here, the continue listening, and then you just jump into your last lesson. You always go to the next one when you're ready. So sometimes you want to do the same lesson multiple days. So we just keep you on the same lesson until you're ready to go to the next one. And there's also this navigate feature. So if you ever want to navigate anywhere in the Course in Miracles, you can easily get to exactly where you want to go. With the whole workbook, you can go look at all the lessons here and easily navigate to anywhere you want to go. We also have the supplements with the psychotherapy and song of prayer. And some people just want like a surprise. A lot of people really like the surprise. So I added the surprise feature. So you can easily just jump into a random section anywhere you want, and maybe the Holy Spirit's guiding you there, and then just listen to something that may be inspiring for that day. And there's one other feature that I really like here, which is we added this meditate feature, where it takes quotes from a course. We actually have over 100 quotes. We crowdsourced them from a lot of students all over the world, and it puts them with some background music, and you can listen to the quote. And this is really helpful if you're going about your day and you have like, you know, something triggered you and you're like, I just really need to get back into the course and settle down. You can come find a prayer. You can either do a surprise or you can do a curated prayer. And I think we have time to do one together here. So I'm going to pick one here, and it'll take about like 2 minutes, but it'll go through a quote. This is from the workbook.
I am God's son, complete and healed and whole, shining in the reflection of his love. In me is his creation sanctified and guaranteed eternal life. In me is love perfected, fear impossible, and joy established without opposite. I am the holy home of God himself. I am the heaven where his love resides. I am his holy sinlessness itself, for in my purity abides his own.
Thank you, Cory.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. And the reason we're sharing this here is because we've had mostly a way more youthful staff working on this. This was not created by the 70s, 80s and up group. So if you have any comments of things you'd like to see, you know, we're just presenting it now. There will be so many things, especially if we get.
And one other thing, mind if I just?
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I just want to
ahead.
say that if they can post a URL in the chat, that it will have a link to a website where you can register, and then will tell you when the app is released, hopefully in the next month or so. And so go to that website, give us your email address, and we'll let you know when the app is ready to go, and you can try it out for yourself, just for iPhone to start with, and then Android coming later. So thank you.
And thank you. And also, just your comments, and anyone who will be using this, their comments. They're really, really important as we keep growing it. This isn't a done deal. This isn't transformation. I am personally excited and hopeful for at some point to be able to record someone or my own voice reading the lesson to me, and having different voices. I'd love to have my partner, because we do it together, and just record him so throughout the day I can hear him reminding me of the lesson. And there are many, many other features, as I say, different voices, different readers, and all sorts of different things to come. So would love your suggestions and your thoughts.
We just need a different languages too. I want it in Portuguese.
Yep.
Yep. We have plans for that. Just takes a lot of time.
Yeah, it's just the start. And like when we were just selling the books, it was one whole business, and now everything is opened up, with apps and with online, that it takes much more time than what we had hoped or thought, but it's not in our hands. Obviously, it's in Spirit's hands. So you will each be a part of this. And thank you. Thank you so much for it.
I had a question about the app. Will we be able to use it offline, or do we need internet connection to use it?
Good question. Currently just online, but we do want to make it available for offline. That's one of our highest priorities after launch, to add this feature, but right now just online, but coming soon offline as well.
And any other questions from anyone about this right now?
I don't have a question.
Go for it. I was just going to say in the chat there. Oh, you go first.
Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say this is so amazing. Like, I was reading through the questions that we were going to discuss today, and one of them was like, how do we make Course in Miracles more available to people? And I was like, make a better app than the one that isn't right now, because it's really helpful. The ACIM remind for everyone that doesn't know that there is an app right now, and it's super helpful because it gives you notifications for like the times to do the lessons. But yes, this is like A Course in Miracles online on steroids. So I love it. Thank you.
Oh, so glad to hear that. And as we say, it will evolve. It will keep evolving. The more we're able to use technology, and the more funding we can get for it. So we are excited about it too, because I think, the one that we have now it has been very functional, but yeah, we needed the steroids for this one. So thank you. And so we are coming to a close. There were so many questions sent in, and we might have gotten to 2 of them, or 3 of them. There was, certainly minimum of 15 with all the little subcategories. But I think certainly for me personally, I just wanted to get to have a feeling of who you each are, because you represent so many people behind you and in front of you and around you, in the youth. And it's just incredibly exciting to see your understanding of the course, your using of the course principles. There were questions like, how do you make time in your day in these busy times to create a discipline and a practice? And there's so many other questions that I promise there will be part 2 of this at a later date. But thank you with all my heart for coming and sharing what you're sharing, because it's really exciting to see what you're doing and how you're doing it, and your commitment to this practice, which you may find in 5 years that something else is interesting, but I have a feeling this is in your blood, and you'll either use it as a partnering tool, or this will be your life path if it is indeed your calling. And it's an amazing, just really exciting is the big word, to see how enthusiastic you all are with an understanding. of the course. So I completely want to thank you for all your participation and what you're doing and how you're spreading the opportunity for people to see differently if they choose to, with the commitment you have. And really, really thank you. So, does anyone else have any last thing? Because we have a second and a half, apparently, that they need to say.
I think Terri was going to say something.
No,
Okay.
it was just something in the chat. Someone asked if it was free, and then somebody else answered that you'll get all the information on the webpage. So that was it.
Yes, I would love for it to be free. I would love for everything we do to be free, but we do not have the funds to do that. So we're asking for support, and it probably, well, it will be more subscription for that. The putting online, as I said, that made it so important, the web edition for free is what we're doing, but this we have to in order to keep going and giving you other things. So we asked, and that's what we were told. So, okay, well, thank you again. And we will be doing this again. So I hand this over to our staff now and to Selena to bring us home.
Okay, thank you so much. We thank our guests for this discussion and for our attendees and for joining us as well as to our team, the foundation staff, and our volunteers. We hope you enjoyed our sneak peek presentation of what the foundation will be launching very soon. So there's more to come on that. I do have one more announcement. So if you are here with us live, keep an eye on our group chat as we'll post registration information there of our next event. And you can also find it on our website. You'll want to stay tuned for December as we continue to celebrate the holiday season. Foundation for Inner Peace will hold its next Let's Discuss session on Thursday, December 14th, called Getting in Spirit, Creativity and the Course, where we will feature different types of artists and their work. They will share about the transformative power of A Course in Miracles and how they have found their creative muse within course teachings. So if you subscribe to Foundation announcements and newsletters, you will be emailed soon. And as I just said, please go out and check out the event page on our website. So before we go, we of course want to give our appreciation to all those who donate to the Let's Discuss webinar series. It's really your donations that keep these events coming, so we really thank you. We've created a short survey that will display on your browser when the session ends. So give us your feedback. We read it and we want to know what you think. Please do so for today's session. And thank you so much again. With love and gratitude, we're so happy you're here and we look forward to having you again. So be well. Thank you.